everybody, it is Kiki here and we're back for another Vlogmas day. It is currently Vlogmas day number 7, I believe. So yeah, today we are already on go. It is currently 1:30. I have an event at 3 p.m. that I need to be set up and ready for. So I'm heading to go get the trailer now. Today has been a very light day. I didn't have to prep anything, no store running around. My events earlier this week were a little bit on the slower side, but we're finishing off the weekend with this event at the pub. It's over by the beach, if I didn't mention that already. So it should be a fairly easy day. I do believe that the coordinator said it's their pajama party today, so that'll be interesting to see. It's this quaint little pub over by Pine Island, so we'll see how tonight goes. We're always hoping for the best, always prepared for the best, but we'll see. So we're gonna go get the trailer. I do want to show you guys how to hitch the trailer and how to unhitch and just everything that I've learned of that process. Because I never knew how to drive a trailer, hitch anything, connect anything to a car. That was never my realm or my wheelhouse. So I definitely had to do some learning, and so I want to share that info with you guys if you ever get into a food truck, food trailer, etc. So we're gonna go get the trailer and I'm gonna show you guys some things of how to hook it up. So yeah. Boop. All right guys, so step 1 to hitching the trailer is first you have to align your vehicle with the hitch. So in my vehicle, I try to find something that is at the center that I could use as a point to mark it. Now I do have a backup camera, which has helped tremendously, but before I had a backup camera, I had a different vehicle and I had to learn what things to use to help guide me back, especially if I'm like by myself on the food truck or just by myself hitching everything. So find something in the center of your vehicle to help guide you to the center of the trailer. So if you guys can see in my camera, my trailer is right there on my right hand side. So I want my trailer has like an apex, like a point. That's where the trailer hitch is. So I'm gonna align my vehicle as best as I can using that apex in the center of my car. So I'm trying not to use my camera. Okay, I'm so used to the camera making my life easy, but that's okay. And also my vehicle does beep when I get close to things, so that helps also. But sometimes you might have to just take it slow, inch to it, come out and look at it. So sometimes it could be a lot of back and forth just because you want to make sure you're aligned properly. So I'm still backing up. You guys hear the beeping. All right, so now we're at the trailer. So another thing to note, when I first got my trailer, it came with a hand crank and I had to manually crank the trailer up, manually crank the trailer down. All right, so if you have that mechanism, that is fine. It's same setup, same everything. I actually switched out my trailer hitch and I have a motorized one. So I just click a button. Well, once I plug it in, I click a button and it rises up, and then I click the button and it rises down. So that is the best switch that I found that I made, because my first hitch actually ended up breaking in the first year. I don't know what happened, but one day I was cranking it up and it was super stiff, and like over time it was getting stiffer and stiffer, and one day it just collapsed, like just straight up fell down. And I had to use a car jack, like a heavy duty car jack, to crank the trailer up onto my vehicle to take it to an event. So for like a week or two, I had to carry this giant car jack in the trunk of my car to raise up my trailer and raise it down. So I suggest switching to a motorized hitch. It was $100 from, I think I got it from Harbor Freight, which is like our tool store. It's pretty much like a Rural King, or even like Lowe's or Home Depot might have a motorized jack, which I have a like a reel that I could probably insert in this video of that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm gonna go get back there and show you guys everything. All right guys, so I'm gonna teach you everything that I know. I may not know the technical names for things, but I'm gonna do my best on informing you guys. So this is my motorized trailer hitch. Okay, like I said, it has a button where you raise it up, it has a button where you go down. So up goes up, down goes down. Very simple. It also has a light button right here, so if it's dark at night, I can flick the light on and I can kind of see where to align my block that the trailer is on. So when hooking a trailer, let me see if I can flip this camera real quick. When hooking a trailer, you're gonna have an electrical plug-in area. There's two different kinds of these. I have the circle kind. There's one that I believe is like flat. So you want to make sure that your vehicle is compatible to your trailer's plug, because this is what controls the lights on your trailer. So up top we have lights, we have brake lights, and side note, I did have fender lights, but I had to replace my fenders, and that's a whole story for another day. But I don't have fender lights, but I do have brake lights because you legally have to. Okay, so this is what powers the lights on the trailer. Whatever you brake on your car, it's gonna show on your trailer. If you signal, it's gonna show on your trailer, all that fun stuff. So in order to engage our trailer motor, you actually have to plug in the trailer to your vehicle. So I'm gonna get this plugged in. That is step number 1. All right, step 1, plug in your trailer. You wanna align, there's a nudge. You wanna align it with the nudge that's in here. And you wanna give it a good push, make sure it's in place, okay? Now that that's in place, we still have to bring the trailer back, and we still have to raise the trailer itself. So for me to hitch the trailer, my car has to be partially on, the battery has to be turned on. It's not gonna be on fully. So I'm gonna turn my key, and that powers the car, and now I can power my hitch. Now, the way my hitch is connected, I don't know if this is for all hitches that are motorized, but mine, in order to not short my battery and draw too much power, it has to be partially on, not fully on. So if it was fully on, that would be too much power, wattages, I don't know, whatever you call it, to turn the hitch on. It could be damaging to your battery. So you turn it partially on, so that way you can crank up the trailer. So now we're gonna do that. All right, so the car is on, and the trailer is going up. So I'm gonna bring it up to about there. That is about as high as I need it to get my vehicle underneath the hitch itself. So now we are going to power up the car. We're gonna reverse back some, get right underneath that hitch. Like I said, when backing up your trailer, you want to align the trailer's apex with the center of your vehicle. That will help you to get right under the hitch. So once again, this is how much height I have on my trailer. It does go up a lot more if needed. And this is my vehicle's hitch. Now, another thing, whenever you do get into a trailer, you want to make sure you have the right ball hitch to fit the trailer itself. So for my trailer specifically, I have a 2 5/16 ball for a weight capacity of 7,500 pounds. So this type of hitch works with my specific trailer. Every trailer can be different. Your ball could be smaller, it could be larger. So when you purchase a trailer, make sure you have all the correct parts and pieces to connect your trailer to your vehicle. Another thing I want to mention is this right here. This is called, I think, like a hitch drop. Meaning there's hitches that go straight out and the ball will just be on top. And there's hitches that have different levels where this could be lower or it could be higher, the angle. This is to make sure that your trailer is level when pulling. So with the height of my vehicle, I needed I believe this is a 2-inch drop that I have. I can't remember, and I don't think it says on the front. But that is another thing. You want to make sure that your trailer is able to drive level when it's connected. And I will show you guys what everything looks like at the very end to, show you guys what I mean. But yeah, so there's different drops for your hitch. This ball can disconnect. Now this ball is not something you can connect or disconnect yourself. I actually had to take it to a like a tire depot or a car dealership place, just anywhere that deals with cars, for them to mechanically take the ball on and off. Because at the time I was switching vehicles, I had a problem with one vehicle, had to get a different drop for a different vehicle, and I didn't want to buy a whole new ball and hitch thingy, right? So keep in mind. Also, if you are switching vehicles, to disconnect this thing is super easy. You pull this little thing and then you pull this out, and that will then allow you to slide this thing off. And then when you want to reconnect it, you put this back in, there's a hole, and you just push the pin back in to lock it into place. So this is sturdy, it's not going anywhere. All right, another thing, I will show you guys once I back it up. We'll get to that. I'm just showing you guys my view when I'm using my backup camera. So you see how my trailer is not quite aligned? I'm actually gonna turn my wheel to get right under it. And that right there shows you my ball is right under the hitch. All right, so now when you take your car out of reverse, your car might rock a little bit. And I also have to turn the car partially back on to let down the trailer. But sometimes your vehicle, depending on if you're on a level surface or not, can move your hitch out of place. You might rock forward a little bit, you might rock back. Sometimes you might even have to pull on the trailer hitch to align it on your ball more. Sometimes you could be perfectly under it. It just depends. But sometimes you can yank this thing around to align it better. Sometimes you might just have to reposition the car again. You know, sometimes you just have to do it a couple different times till you get it. So we're going to let down the trailer. Once again, we have a button that says up, a button that says down. So this time we're using the down button. So as I'm pushing this button, this is what's retracting into the trailer, and everything is set onto here now. So all the weight is on the hitch. So this part of the thing is gonna go inside of it. Okay, now our trailer is off of the block. This is something that I take with me. I believe I ordered this one off of Amazon. When I first got my trailer, I was actually just using a piece of wood that was stacked up that actually came from my builder. But over time, that piece of wood, it broke, and also I think I needed something higher once I switched out my hitches. I needed something that was a little bit higher, because depending on where you are, if the ground is level or not, sometimes you might need one thicker, sometimes you might need one that's shorter. It just depends. And that's something to also keep in mind when you go to different events. And something to keep in mind when you go to different events, that you need to be aware of the space where you're going to be unhitching and hitching back up, because sometimes you might need a little piece of wood. If you're on an incline and you have to come down lower to level things out, you might need something that's a little bit thinner. So try to always keep something on hand, thick or thin, to set your trailer on. Okay, so I'm gonna hook up the rest of the trailer and show you guys those different safety functions. All right, so now that the trailer is on the vehicle, this right here is what locks the ball in place. So sometimes it might get stuck. We might have to push the trailer, push against it to give space, or sometimes we might be perfectly on it. So let's see. So you see how it's not going down? So I actually have to physically push my trailer away, or I could pull forward to get it to extend. Let's see. We're so close. Hold on. So I was not lucky today. I have to inch my vehicle up just a little bit to extend the ball to the front of the hitch, so that way my lock can go down. And that happens sometimes. It just gets stuck. I don't know, maybe I need to put WD-40 on it so that way it could slide around easier. I don't know. But this is what I do to fix that. So I'm just gonna inch forward and push that lock down. Okay, so now that lock is down. So the next thing I'm going to do, you see these rings right here? There's 2 of them. There is also 2 rings on each side of the trailer hitch itself. This is what we do to chain the trailer to the vehicle. This is very important that you drive with this connected, because if anything were to disconnect here or break here, or if this was to pop off of here, this will keep your trailer from rolling away on you. It is one of few safety features with hitching the trailer. So we're going to hook it here. Also, my vehicle, it's a little lower to the ground with the trailers, so to keep these from dragging, I actually purposely have them twisted up just so they don't drag, okay? And I have them twisted on both sides. And when hooking them, you also want to crisscross it like this. Don't ask me why, this is what I was told to do. I'm just a girl. So crisscross them, twist them up if you need it, so that way they don't drag on the ground. Now, it's close to the ground, but it's not close enough to drag. All right, so that's the next safety part. The next safety thing is this thing here. And I have another funny story for you guys, something that I learned about my trailer. All right, so this little thing here is your breakaway chain, I think is what it's called. So what this thing does, and I never knew this, this is what engages your brakes on the trailer. If anything were to yank this out of the box, your trailer will stop, right? The box that I'm talking about is this little tiny box, right? This is it's engaged with your brakes and it's connected to a battery. The battery being this. That's what this thing is here. So for the longest time, I did not know every time you yank this part out of the box, it engages the battery and turns your battery on. Every time I was connecting my trailer, I kept yanking that string out, and engaging the battery and had it running and running and running. And I had to replace the battery because I didn't know that. So to properly hook it, this is where I'm telling you something I never knew and that I learned. All you do is open the latch. Don't be lazy. Don't yank it out like I was. You open the latch. Oh, this is hard to show now. Open the latch. Hold on. Open the latch. You loop it through here. And since the cord is long, I actually loop it back on itself. And I'm going to close this up. Of course, I'm turning it the wrong way. Let me do this with 2 hands and I'll show you guys. All right. You're going to loop it back on itself. Close the latch. And it's really easy to do. I just never knew this is what I was supposed to do. So now that this is closed and this is locked onto the car, that's the important thing. You have to have it connected to your vehicle and connected to the trailer. So that way, if this disconnects, your trailer will stop, right? So last part. This is what locks the ball and hitch together. So I actually loop this extra string through here so it's not dragging, and you're gonna put it through right here. Super easy, and you just close it. And that's it. Your trailer is hitched. Now, like I said, we have some long pieces here. I don't use the full length of this cord, so I have it wrapped around a little bit. I still have some slack in there, but it just is enough so it won't drag when I'm driving. So now the trailer is connected, it's hitched, and we're ready to hit the road. So I'm gonna plug out my trailer. This is how I have it plugged in. I'm gonna take my block in the car just in case I need to detach for my event. And that's it. We just learned to hitch a trailer. It's actually very easy as long as you know what each of these things are for, okay? So we have the chains, we have the ball and hitch and then the lock for the hitch itself. We have our breakaway chain connected, and yeah, we're all set. All right, so we are en route to the pub. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to share with you guys. If your vehicle that you're towing, your trailer, has any type of tow mode functions, buttons. Make sure you always have that on, so that way it helps your vehicle tow your trailer. I currently have a 2015 Nissan Armada. This truck, I love it. Like, I have no complaints. I've had no major issues since buying it. I did buy it at a high mileage, but it is still holding up pretty strong. Like, I bought it at 212, and right now I'm at 270. So I've certainly put on a lot of miles, but everything works perfectly fine. Now, I have very small, minor things, such as like my AC. At one point I had to buy a new blower motor. I've had to get my brakes done a couple times, but that's, you know, average everyday wear and tear, things to take care of. But yeah, no major problems. I love this vehicle. My dad, this is a type of vehicle he had back in his day, and he said that how these things are like built to last. And I personally just don't like pickup trucks. And the perk of having an SUV is that I have so much storage in my trunk, which I've showed you guys in other videos how I store extra supplies for the food truck. And that's just very convenient for me, because not everything can always be stored and kept on there because you run out of space. I have a small trailer. I mean, I'm at my trailer is 7 by 12. So there's obviously way bigger trailers, but I'm just not one of them yet. So for now, this is what works for me. This vehicle, like I said, is very sturdy. It's very spacious. I have front row, middle row, back row, and then I still have a whole trunk full of space. So that's the vehicle I have to tow my trailer. My trailer weight itself, I've had it weighed at a weigh station. I think I'm sitting at about over 5,000 pounds. So whenever you're shopping for a vehicle, or you're trying to see if your vehicle is good enough to tow a food truck, it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on how much equipment is in there, how much weight you're pulling. My vehicle, I believe my tow capacity is actually 9,000 plus. So this vehicle is way more than strong enough to tow my load. But that's not always the case. And also, you don't always want to tow things at the top capacity of your vehicle's tow capacity, if that makes sense. So say your tow capacity is 4,000 to 9,000. You don't want to constantly be pulling 9,000 pounds, because there's not going to be a lot of longevity there. I will say my very first vehicle that I had for the trailer, I had a Jeep Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, whatever it is. And it was strong, it had low mileage, but it did not last. My transmission actually ended up going out on me. So that vehicle, although it had a high tow capacity, it just wasn't high enough and strong enough for my trailer and its weight constantly. Because mind you, my food truck is mobile. We move around. I go distance, I go nearby, I do everything. So that is something to note when you are looking to get into a food truck business or food trailer business. You need to be aware of the type of vehicle that you need. Now, I just had a preference that I don't want a pickup truck, so that narrowed down my search to SUVs, and the Nissan Armada is what it came down to for me, and I absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Now, one thing I do want to eventually do, just on a personal side, is that this is my everyday car as well as my work vehicle. I would like to get another vehicle to be my everyday car instead, so that way I'm not putting average everyday wear and tear on my vehicle plus work stuff. So eventually I would like to get another vehicle, so that way it eases up the workload on my truck, because I want this to last me some time, you know. But yeah, if you're into pickup trucks, I mean, I would recommend a pickup truck. They usually have a lot of power behind them. Once again, just, you know, be aware of your tow capacities for those vehicles. That's another perk I would also say in comparison of having a trailer compared to a food truck itself. If there is an issue with your vehicle, you could just get another vehicle, you know. Whether it's something you need short notice, you might have to do a little rental truck. Don't tell them what you're renting it for. I mean, I don't know if it's allowed or not, but you could always rent a pickup truck for a day, 2 days, however long you need it for if you're in a pinch, and, you know, switch vehicles like that. Take your hitch off, switch it over, make sure the vehicle you're renting has a hitch. I've seen people tow their trucks with U-Hauls as well. Like, just, you know, that's if it comes down to it. But in general, if you did have a regular food truck, like a drivable food truck, if there was an issue with your food truck and one day you cannot drive it and it's not fixable in a day, then you're SOL. You know, you can't drive to your event, you can't go make money, and you're kind of screwed. That means you just wasted time of prep, you're losing money. You know, you also have to figure out how to get your food truck fixed, and you're out of business for the moment. So I felt like having a food trailer in this case is better. Now there is pros and cons to both, which I'll probably cover in another video, but my preference in the end was a trailer. So that's what I did, and that's what we have now. So yeah. Guys, so we are taking out the generator. Not sure if I've mentioned this before, but we have some ramps that my dad actually built, and it's just a wooden plank with like some metal angles so that way it can hang on to the lip of the trailer. And there, take the chocks out. We don't need them because we're not unhooking. So I just put them near the trailer off to the side for now. And then I'll make sure things are out of the way. So that way the trailer can be pulled out, or the generator. Start their orders. Alright guys, we are out here at Wiki Pub. We are all set up. We already had one pretty large order. I guess the building across the street, they're renovating. So they came to order food for themselves and the team that they have helping them with renovation. So far, good little start. It is still the first hour for us that we are here. So, yeah. And this is our menu right now, our current menu. We did recently update it. I still need to get like a regular copy laminated, but for now I just have it in like a protective sleeve along with my business cards, my tip jar that lights up, little hello sign. That's our chalkboard, which eventually the chalkboard is supposed to get mounted and put right there. I just have to find the right mechanism to mount it, and then something that we can like detach while driving. But yeah, and then also on our window we have our little leave a review QR codes for Facebook, Google, and Yelp, along with our little Christmas decorations. And that is our trailer. All right guys, just checking in. It is currently 6:42, and yeah, it's been actually pretty steady all night. We've been having like a steady amount of customers. This is how many tickets so far. I guess I can count it. And we still have like 2 more hours, which I'm like, ugh, it's so long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 orders. We are doing pretty good. I'm actually surprised. I mean, I haven't done this location since probably the summer, and at that time it was kind of slow. So I really haven't been back out here since, but I'm glad I did it. And yeah. Let me be careful before I hurt myself. I'm trying to re-stab the orders. But yeah, those are the orders so far for the nights. It is 15 till 7 right now. Yeah, not bad. Yep. All right, YouTube. Oh, my seatbelt's already on. Whoopsies. Okay, checking back in. It is currently 9:11, and we are on the road home. The event was really good. I forgot how many customers we had in the very end. I don't think I did a final count on tickets, but just to give you guys a rough estimate number, I think we made about 600 to 700 tonight. So that was really good. It was unexpected, honestly. Like I said, I didn't have that much hope or faith in this bar. I mean, I'm always hoping for the best, but I'm actually surprised. So it was a really good night. We are wrapping up. I didn't really get much time to record too much in between. But yeah, I'm gonna go home, drop this trailer, and at the end of this, actually not the end of this video, but maybe I'll get to some questions tonight. Some frequently asked questions about owning a food truck and what it's like. The ups, the downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But yeah, so I'm just gonna finish my drive real quick, take my butt home, and get back.